Mission's residence and the chancellery, usually now called the embassy, are extraterritorial. The legal fiction is maintained that these premises are part of the sending state's territory, not that of the host state. Even local firefighters cannot enter it, foreign territories without the consent. For this reason, political opponents of harsh regimes often seek asylum in embassies, legations, and nunciatures. Although widely practiced, the right of political asylum is not established in international law except Latin America. The ultimate security of embassy is universally acknowledged to be the responsibility of the host state. Most states are scrupulous about treating foreign diplomats and their missions as honored guests who are deserving protection from the intrusions into the premises in which they live and work. Host countries are naturally concerned that reciprocal violations of the privileges and immunities might befall their own embassies in foreign lands were they to allow them in their capital. There were, however, some spectacular lapses from the duty of diplomatic protection in the last half of the 20th century in countries in revolutionary turmoil. For example, in 1963, with the unapologetic sympathy of the Indonesian government, mobs sacked the British embassy in Jakarta over the issue of Malaysian independence. In 1967, during so-called Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution in China, the British embassy in Beijing was invaded and gutted by the Red Guards, whose actions were officially condoned. In 1979, Iranian students stormed the American embassy in Tehran, and with the open convenience, the government of the newly established Islamic Republic held many of the staff in the US embassy hostage for 444 days. Let's talk about the credentials of the ambassadors, the envoys, and the staff of embassies. Appointment of a new head of mission is a complex process. To avoid embarrassment, his or her name is informally sounded if the host country does not object. Formal application for agreement or consent is made by the envoy being replaced. Then the new ambassador is sent forth with a letter of credence addressed by his head of the state to the head of the host state to introduce the ambassador as his or her representative. In most major capitals, a copy of the credential is now first provided privately to the foreign minister, after which the new ambassador can deal with the foreign ministry and begin to call on his diplomatic colleagues. Presentation of these credentials to the chief of state is, however, quite formal. In some states with a keen sense of tradition, it may entail riding from the embassy to a palace in an open carriage. The ceremony includes handing over the newly arrived ambassador's letter for credence and those recalled predecessors and a short platitude.